Hey guys, and welcome to the updated Inferno for Noobs. It's taking a little bit because I wanted to be kind of sure that Valve wouldn't update the map pretty significantly like they did with Cobble and Train, etc, etc. But anyways, starting right off here, and keep in mind with these callouts that your region might call it something different, but I'm going to do my best to cover all of the common callouts that I might hear, regardless of region. But starting off here, we are in T-Spawn. They added this new entrance, which is just Alt T-Spawn entrance, I guess. Or some people call it radio, because it's a little guy right here. But anyways, heading over here, we go into Alt Mid. This whole area right down here. Very much so similar to the old Inferno. Coming back down here is T-Stairs, or T-Steps, or T-Ramp. And then this used to be called Hay, or T-Hay, but now it's just called, again, T-Stairs. Coming into here is T-Apps. And pretty much this whole area from like here all the way to here and then down into there is T-Apps. This is Kitchen. Right here is T-Porch or Headshot. And then over here, we come into Bridge. And then some more T-Apps. And again, this just exits into Alt Mid or Second Mid. And then over here we get into Apps. They got rid of Dark Room. Boiler is down here. This is Window Room. Sometimes people do call it Bedroom. And then again, Long Hall, Dark Hall. But for the most part, this whole area is Apps. But specifically, this is Dark Hall or Long Hall. And then Balcony, which goes into Pit. Significantly changed Pit. I've been hearing people call this Pit Headshot or just Headshot. And then Haycart. A site. Right here is Default Box. Mid Box. I've heard this called Gay Corner. It's been called that for a long time, but just keep that in mind if you hear that. They're probably talking about this. A lot of people do call this Safe as well. And then just site in general, Open Plant would be like right here. This is Close Box, usually. This is also called, I've heard it called Nook and kind of Corner. But again, I haven't really heard any specific callouts. I've just heard it say like on-site, backsite, that kind of thing. So keep in mind if you hear Corner or Nook or backsite, that's kind of what they're talking about usually. And then Graveyard, this got changed quite a bit. Closet. Chicken. Just kidding. Library. Over here it's Cubby. Sometimes people do call this Dark Spot as well. This is just Arch Side. Porch Side. And Porch, or sometimes people do call this Quad. And then coming on over here, we come to Arches, which comes into CT Spawn. And again, Library over there, CT Spawn. Right here is Ivy. And it is still possible to get on it, it just takes a little bit more, I don't know, teasing. I'll try to do it. Give it one go. Not able to do it. I'm bad at KZ. But anyways, Highway or Speedway. And again, Ivy right there. Fountain. Construction or Ruins. Some people are calling this Cathedral now. Right here is Tree. Be careful of this corner. I've heard they're just called Close Right as you're entering. And we still have sandbags over here. There's no longer a generator over there. Coffins. Actually, this is called Coffins now, but some people do still call it Spools. But this used to be called Garden. Some people might call it Construction Coffins, but a lot of times it's just Close Right. But again, apologies for the confusion, but Coffins or Spools. Fountain. Emo or Dark. Back here is New Box, or New Yellow, even though it's not yellow anymore. And then right here is Yellow, or First Oranges. I should note that this is called Boost, or CT Boost. And then, up here is on top of First Oranges, or yellow. Then we have sandbags. Car or barrels, typically now called barrels. Boost. And this whole entire area is banana. They even call it banana now. I don't know if it was banana before on the radar, but this is tree or logs or wood. And then right here is just kind of called close right. And then we get back to T stairs and into mid, underpass, or Mexico, or Vietnam. And that is about it for the callouts. There used to be a little corner right here, but it's no longer called that. Some people call this fountain. And oh, it's not it for the callouts. I apologize. This is usually haystacks or now just window stairs. But that is it for the callouts. But we'll now jump into some basic sort of strategies for both sides. So starting right off here on the T side, we're going to be heading towards banana and taking the B site. Now, typically what you want to do is either have a flash out, throw it off of here like this, stick to the right so it doesn't flash you too much, or throw a Molotov into barrels, try to get it behind there, like so that the CTs don't do a quick peek towards you. Because they will get there a little bit before you, but usually you get to like right about here where you can kind of get into cover quickly before they can get too much of a chance to kill you. So just kind of throw a flash or a molly like that just to get a little bit more control. And if you're able to get up here, what I like to do is throw a flash off of this wall. Yeah, it's not a pop flash, but most of the time they're either going to have to fall back behind this wall to avoid it or turn away, at which point you can either kind of come in and peek while they're either turned away, or you can come in and take control of the top with your teammates. Come in, check sandbags. If this wasn't mollied off, of course, check this. The whole key here is to be fast and kind of precise and overwhelm the person holding this angle or the person holding this angle, or both. So once you have control, there are a couple of smokes that you need to know to be able to take this site effectively. One is going to be for the cross here at CT, and one is going to be for garden over here. And you kind of do want to pre-fire coffins right there, / spools, whatever you decide to call it. So the first smoke is going to be for the cross at CT. And once again, you come up to these logs just like the old Inferno. Now you kind of walk up them a little bit, but that's okay. So come up to the logs, and instead of aiming at the chimney and going up, you want to aim right about at this post and go up to either one of the wires. So throw it like so, and it will land at the cross like so, and you can come into sight. There's actually a little bit of a gap on that one that I just threw, but I didn't throw it perfect, I guess. But keep in mind, you do want to throw it perfect when you're executing. So come up to the logs like so, and that'll land at the cross. The next one is going to land at coffins right here. It should land right about here, and it's not going to be perfect for the person holding coffins, so you want to pre-fire that angle right there. It's a little bit better of a smoke. There we go. Anyways, come up to this line right here where these bricks are, and you simply want to aim between these two leaves right here, so right about here, and throw. And it'll land right about here. And again, oh god, I went through the wall. And again, the person on coffins might be able to see you, so it's definitely wise to pre-fire you. But if you throw it kind of like I did right here, they shouldn't be able to see you. But again, it's always wise. In case your smokes aren't perfect or whatever, it happens. Just come in, pre-fire that angle. If anybody's there, you can try and catch them off guard. And once again, you just come up to this line right here. And you want to aim at the tip of this branch right here between these two. And throw. And that should land right about there. Bounce off that. Like so. Now there is a molly you can throw for new box right here. It is a little bit difficult to get down, but once you have it, you know, you'll kind of have it. Kind of like anything in this game, I guess. But you just simply want to come up to this corner right here. And you want to aim 1, 2 little points here from the left of this pillar. And you want to aim at the corner right here and do a jump throw. And that should bounce down and land right back here. And molly off new box like so. And once more, just tuck yourself right in the corner right here between the barrel and the wood panel. So 1, 2 at the corner of this part right here and jump throw. And that should land right back in new box. So once you have those 2 smokes at the very least down. Just say right here. Right here. Just for the sake of the video. You might want to have at least 1 or 2 players stand back and flash over while you're coming in. Again, they're not pop flashes, but they will at least divert the attention of anybody playing in. Come in. Make sure nobody's getting cheeky, pushing through here. Again, pre-fire this. And you need to check this angle, and behind here, or on top. I've had people sitting behind the water. It's very difficult to see someone kind of poking their head up above this water, just because of the water itself. So kind of pre-fire that. So as you're coming in, those flashes are going off. Make sure nobody's coming through. Pre-fire. 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 And then you can kind of work the angles here. Again, make sure nobody's coming through any smoke that you have here. Check this corner. Check this corner. And once you have cleared the site, this is sort of the default plant spot right here. Grill. But still, now it's just coffins. And if you want to have a safe from CT plant, you plant back here. But that's pretty much the basic strategy of taking the B site. Of course, you can wrap around from the A site from arches if you would like. But that's a little bit more difficult. And while we're on that subject, we can go over here towards the A site and go over taking the A site. So taking the A site, I think, is something that a lot of players struggle with because, for lack of a better term, they don't have the balls to kind of just run in, try and take the aim fights because they're getting 2 angles. But typically you do want to smoke off both angles, but you can kind of come in here, pre-fire this angle if you don't have any utility, and then come over here, pre-fire, 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 and then obviously pre-fire that. Be careful of your back here though if you're going to come out wide like this, so you kind of want to keep close so you're not getting shot in the back. But there are a couple of smokes that you can use to take either side. The first smoke we'll use will be to smoke off the arch side. You just come up to this broom right here, line yourself up with it. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect. And then you come up to this wire and just throw. And it will bounce like so, nice and close at the close angle. And smoke them off like so. I like that smoke better than the one that kind of lands like right here. Again, just because they can kind of sit right here, listen. And then once they realize you've all passed, come up behind you a little bit easier. This gives you a little bit more wiggle room to kind of see if anybody's going to be coming through the smoke. So again, once more, come up to the broom. Doesn't have to be perfect. Aim at this wire, just kind of up like this, and throw. And that will land at that far angle right there. And then you can kind of work your way in. Maybe flash in off of this chimney. I'll pop right about here. What am I stuck on? Oh, the wood pallet. Pop right about there, blinding anybody here. Or you can throw it off of here. Doesn't really matter, so long as you're getting them to at least turn away or move back, so you can peek the angle safely. But as always, pop flashes are better. Now to smoke off port side, so you can go and do a wraparound either towards B or wraparound towards A, towards arches. It's very simple. You just come up to these little flowers here, the ivy, I guess you would call it. Come up to the edge right here. Aim just to the left of this flower pot and throw. And it will land right about there, covering both boiler and port side. And you can wrap around. Of course, clear this angle. Clear this angle. Clear library and be wary of this. I like to kind of, once I've cleared this, throw a molly in there. Wait a second in case anybody's in there, and then take the fight. And then clear the angles like so. Be sure you don't light yourself on fire like I just did. And then you can kind of come in and either wrap towards B and take the fights that are on site, or maybe even in Speedway coming to rotate. Or you can either wrap through library, have some people wrap through arch and library, but if you're going to go through library, I'd highly advise smoking that off and then going through, just so nobody kind of shoots you from pit. And of course, clear this angle. So whether you're taking this side or that side, the main spots you want to check are one boiler, this corner right here, this corner, and then kind of peek at balcony, make sure nobody is holding up here, in pit, headshot, and then sometimes people will be standing on top of this box, or over here close, or behind here, or in graveyard. So basically the moral of the story is use your utility like flashes and smokes to get into the site and pre-fire the common spots. You can even kind of throw a flash like this. Again, not a pop flash, but it will probably blind somebody if they're playing like right here. They'll see it coming, but they'll either have to fall back or turn away, etc., etc. Then come in. I like to throw a molly. Oops. Throw a molly into pit here, just to clear that headshot, because they could just be sitting behind the wall. And then you kind of come in, maybe even throw a flash on the side like that, blind anybody holding right here, or force them to turn away. Come in and clear your angles, and then get the plant down once you are sure that site is cleared. So that's kind of the basics of taking the A site. And again, they're very, very simple strategies, but they're not like Fnatic or other pro team tier strategies or SK or whatever team you wanna choose. But those are the basics for the T side, and now we will hop on over towards the CT side. So on CT side here for the A side, typically you want to have a person holding arches here, have a person playing in porches, or porch rather, and have a player either playing inside halls, like so, either back here, watching this and watching this, or holding close if they're ballsy, going for a quick pick, and then kind of throwing a flash like so and running away, or throwing a smoke down behind them and running away. So once you get that pick, is very important on the CT side to kind of fall back and play with that man advantage. Don't get too cocky unless you're confident, like 100%, without a doubt, you're going to get that second kill, and then fall back. So you always want to play with that man advantage as CT. So they're either playing inside here, close or far, inside pit, and sometimes on site, like right here, watching apartments, or in graveyard, which isn't as good as it used to be, but it is a place that they might hold right here, holding, watching that. So you have your 3 players in their main spots, and that's pretty much the default. And usually the person holding arches will throw a smoke for mid first, and they'll kind of bounce like that, and it'll cover mid. Very simple to throw, no crazy lineups or anything like that. So they'll throw the, they will throw the smoke first, and then they'll hold the angle either right here. I don't like to hold it close because your body's a little bit more exposed as you go back. So I like to hold it back here. It gives you that ability to fall back into arches if you get pushed. And then you can kind of throw a flash like this as they're pushing. Slow them down a little bit. That actually went into cubby. I did not mean to do that. Throw a flash like this. Just slow them down a little bit. Or even throw a molly like this. Just slow them down a little bit. So those are your options as an arch player if they do push you, or you can just hold this angle, go for the pick. And again, if you get that kill, no need to overextend, just fall back, don't get cocky. Alert your, the quad player and your person playing in balcony over there that, they're pushing mid. And you can kind of help support them as they draw the attention, or as you draw the attention, etc., etc. So this porch player, once that smoke has dissipated, again, they're holding this angle, watching boiler and watching mid, helping support this player on arches. If that smoke has dissipated, they can kind of throw their own smoke like so. Hold off any terrorists, and then just worry about this angle right here, and this angle. Even if that smoke dissipates, they still have their mollies on each side if they do go for the mollies, but usually once this player uses his smoke, he'll throw a molly in here, just to kind of slow down any terrorists if they hear any activity in there. So this is the reason why I like to have mollies pretty much all the time, is because they are great for doing a little bit of damage and slowing down a rush, because as a person gets hit, they're going to be slowed down a little bit, and that gives you very easy shots for either side. So 2 smokes in a molly or incendiary, whatever you want to call it, like that, and that will give you quite a bit of time to hold right here and do a little bit of damage. So that's the kind of basic hold for these 2 players, and then this player again is just kind of watching in here, making sure they don't do a waterfall out here, trying to get that pick. Now, something you can do as a CT if you don't really hear anything, typically the arch player will do this. Actually, 9 times out of 10 the arch player will do this. They'll come right up here, throw a flash right off here, it'll pop right there, blinding anybody holding this close angle. You can kind of come in and pre-fire that very common spot while they're either blind or turning away to get information. So those are some basic things. Sometimes this player on porch gets boosted up here. Not very common, but keep that in mind. And then if the porch player doesn't hear anything, sometimes this guy over here in balcony will come in, push down dark hall, and this guy will push up here, check that headshot angle, check here, and check here. Make sure nobody's on T porch. So that's kind of the basics of the A site for the CT side. Now coming on over to the B side, the setup is usually, if you're playing passively, having a player either here or at coffins. And then having a player either back here or in new box, new yellow, new oranges, or at close, sometimes even on top. Usually I would sit on top if I had a shotgun or a pistol, just so you get that kind of surprise angle. You can usually get one, you know, with your pistol, go doot doot, get the headshot, fall back, like so. So those are the two spots that you want to play passively. You can smoke this off. It's a little bit wider, so it's kind of harder to smoke it. But you can smoke it off like that, and then just kind of sit right here. You can also throw flashes over to kind of slow them down. And once that smoke is gone, I usually like to see if anybody's there first and foremost. And if I see anybody there, I'll take a few shots, pull out my molly, and then rotate back here, change my position, so that they're not kind of pre-firing that angle. And if nobody's playing coffins, that's a good thing for you. If you're rotating back, you can support them from here, change up your angle, make them think that you're still there, and kind of draw their attention that way. And then this player, again, is just kind of supporting you if you're holding that angle, and you're supporting them if they're holding that angle. Now, if you're kind of just playing safe, playing an eco round, or you just have a player playing here on coffins, I keep wanting to call it spools, I apologize. But if you have a player playing on coffins, taking those fights, getting that information, and you're playing right here, you can stand in this corner, aim right about here, throw a flash off like that. It's going to pop right there, and you can kind of take the peaks like that, and then fall back. If you have another one, do the same thing. Throw it like that, and then take the fights. There's also a way you can flash back here. You pretty much just kind of want to aim like right at here. Nope, not like that. Just aim kind of like right down here. There we go. That's like, I thought I had the line up right, but I didn't. Throw it like that, and that will flash them, like so. Now, if you want to have, excuse me, two players playing up close, being a little bit aggressive, usually what I like to do is either throw a flash, or a fragnade, or a molly, like so. Slow them down a little bit, so I can get either to barrels, go for a quick peek, try to get a pick, or get this position right here, or this position over here. So usually you'll have a player standing right here and a player either standing here or sometimes that wall or right here, just to get those quick picks, throw a flash or smoke and then fall back. So no need to be too aggressive once you get that pick. And there is a smoke you can do to smoke off this area right here. You can come over here pretty much as soon as you spawn, come into this corner, aim at this corner, and aim at the height of this little, like I said, it'd be a telephone line right about here, throw, and if you threw it correctly, it should land at that cross, and that'll give you the ability to get a little bit more of an advanced position. However, keep in mind, one, the pre-fires, and two, this is now able to be boosted at. So now that you have gotten advanced positions here, again, use your utility. Throw flashes off this wall, just like you did on the T side. Bounce down like that. Use your nades to delay them as much as possible, and if they rush you, get a pick, fall back towards sight or towards CT, then hold the angle as much as you can. Again, use your utilities. But that's just, again, two very basic things that you can do to hold the B site, and some basic things you can do to hold the A site. And hopefully this video is useful to you guys, and as always, thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.